So, extracting with nearly 160k in value, but more importantly, 70,000 experience. A double level up in one raid, even at level 45. This was a really good result from a little experiment I wanted to run, which was essentially how effectively can you power level in Arc Raiders if you really put your mind to it.
And yeah, as it turns out, the answer is incredibly quickly.
Hello then, my fellow raiders, and today, well, as I just said, I want to go over my attempt at really properly min-maxing XP, how it went, and the collateral rewards too. Now obviously, power leveling is good for your skill points, because you want to probably get to those security breaches with the ridiculous loot as fast as possible, but honestly just more skill points makes the game a lot better in general to experience. There's a lot of very key ones out there, and if you do actually want to know exactly which are the best skills to grab, we tested them all in a dedicated video with a proper build guide at the end, and I can link that down below. But today then, well, as you can see, it's a big old arc killing run. But don't fear, I'm not about to say you need ridiculous advanced gear, you need your legendary laser energy weapons, and you need tier 3 augments, and your epic shields and all of that stuff. Essentially, this method scales with the state of game you're on. Always the best experience tends to be killing Arc, looting the Arc that you've killed, and just doing that as much as you can until you're forced to extract via either running out of resources or running out of time on the map. But I think it's rather interesting to see just how hard you can actually go with this once you get a little bit later in the game. And it's also very map independent, because obviously every map has lots of big Arc for you to tackle. That said, nighttime is obviously best because of the density of Arc, though it does mean extracting can be a little bit dicey, but of course we're solo and a lot of solo players tend to be quite friendly, especially when you are hunting big Arc, because they kind of just want to help a little bit and maybe steal a core, and that's not the end of the world. I always let people grab a little bit of loot before moving on, and honestly could have ended up with a lot more than I did. Now obviously, while the method I'm about to show you is self-evidently solid, with all of these guides from everyone on Arc Raiders, there is this little element of, well, we can't allow for the pure RNG of your fellow man, your fellow raider, either choosing to be a problem or not. PvP can happen, some people will see you doing stuff and wave all friendly and move on, others will make it their life mission to, well, take everything that you own. That's not inherently a bad thing, it's part of the thrill of an extraction shooter, but no strategy is PvP proof because no strategy can control other players' actions. All I can say is that solo tends to be friendlier if you do communicate via the wheel or via voice, you offer to work together, you say, sure dude, grab some loot. It tends to work out pretty well. You have to find a pretty dedicated psychopath to then continue killing you after that, but hey, it can happen. In any case then, we want to be killing Arc, and of course, as I said, that is map independent. Nighttime is more dense, daytime is more extraction opportunities, and especially a raider key hatch. Honestly, for pure safety and guaranteed of the success, probably daytime and a raider key hatch for a hatch extract is the way to go if you have the spare ones or the resources to get them, to craft them, or to buy them. But in any case, as long as you're extracting really close to the end of the raid, which you will be doing because you're going to want to stay for as long as possible to kill as much Arc to get as much value as you can, extracts in the dying seconds tend to be a lot more, let's just get out of here, and I have not been attacked once in an extract sub 1 minute, at least in solo, just to throw that out there. But in any case, the ideal way of doing this is by using, and this is gonna come as one hell of a shock, the best arc killing weapon in the game. And that immediately sounds like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll just bust out my Hullcrackers. But the thing is, you can just bust out your Hullcrackers. You can buy, from level 20, a Hullcracker once every stock reset, which is to say once a day. it costs 30,000 coins. Earning 30,000 coins is not that difficult. We have plenty of loot run guides up as an example where you get about 80 to 150k every raid as long as, you know, no one shoots you in the face. And therefore you can quite comfortably once a day buy a single Hullcracker and then combine that with buying enough shots for it, and 50 is more than enough to do the run, which means for an investment of 45k, you can essentially roll the dice on having a 70k plus experience raid coupled with easily 150k worth of resources on the return, tripling your investment. Which means statistically, you only have to actually extract 1 out of every 3 times you attempt this to break even, and you will more than likely do that. I have done a solo Hullcracker XP Arc Farm loot run 11 times now. I have extracted 9 times. It is more than worth it. So you get to level 20, you get yourself a Hullcracker, you get yourself at least 50 shots, and you're on your way. And I cannot stress how effective this gun is. You don't need to level it up, you don't need to pour resources into making it level 4, you don't need to put attachments on. When you're just correctly killing large arc, using cover properly, taking shots with this thing when you can, you kill things so quickly. It's like less than 10 shots to bring down a Bombardier. You'll one-shot every flying arc like hornets and wasps and spotters etc. on the way, and honestly you can go out your way to do that because it's just little extra XP packets that are buzzing past you. There's nothing quite like the feeling of holding a Hullcracker, and I think one of the biggest messages I want out of today's video is don't be afraid to Hullcrack. It sounds scary taking it in. It's like, oh, it's a 30k gun, what if I lose it? But the returns are more than worth it, both literally what you get, but also in the fun you'll have doing it. And when it comes to actually killing arc, well, again, we have a dedicated guide on how to dismantle every single arc solo, and that's without using the Hullcracker. It's still fairly comfortable to do with basic grenades. With the Hullcracker, well, you're seeing me do it. When facing a Bastion, all you need is any kind of cover. You just peek right between its shots, fire a couple of rounds, then peek left between its shots, fire a couple of rounds, and repeat until it's dead. It is the most straightforward experience. And because you're using a Hullcracker and not a bajillion grenades, your time to kill is really quick, which means you're not going to be exposed for that long, and you're not going to make that much noise for that long. Because you've probably been on a map where you've heard a Bastion just bring out its machine gun for about 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, someone is slowly killing a Bastion with like a ferro in a building. I could go over there and mess with them. Whereas with the Hullcracker, you'll get through it in like 30 seconds, be looting it, and be on your way. When it comes to a Bombardier then, all you need to make sure is that you have a roof over your head. As long as the spotters can't make missiles land on you because they hit the roof, you're completely cool to kill them. Now, they'll fire their straight missiles at you, and you do want to time your shots in between them doing that. Again, peek left round something, peek right round something, and you'll get through it fairly sharpish. You can also aim for the legs on both. 1-2 Hullcracker shots will down it and let you just empty the rest of your magazine into it, and you'll get through it in 2 magazines, 10 shots. And that's really simple and straightforward. And if you do get hit, well, you just want to bring enough meds and shields to do that. I'll go over a specific loadout to take in a little bit. Then when it comes to Rocketeers, honestly, I'd recommend you kinda leave them alone. You have to be accurate with the Hullcracker, of course, which means allowing for the arc a little bit, but Rocketeers are very good at hitting you even if you have cover to play around, because of course, you know, rockets are quite the big explosion. And the thing is, the reward for killing one is only going to be a couple drivers. It's only 5 parts to loot, whereas Bastions and Bombardiers, they're the big juicy loot packages. They're worth the most XP, they're worth the most money, and they're the easiest to kill, so they would be your ideal targets. Every other arc is just free with the Hullcracker. Obviously, the Queen is a thing, and I have soloed the Queen, but it's not Not like that's something that I would recommend, but hey, it's something that is entirely possible, and yes, you guessed it, we have a guide up on that too. In any case, the general plan is simple. You spawn in, you have your adrenaline shots, you run to each of the spawns of Big Ark that you either know about or you can look up on one of the many interactive maps around the place. You see where it is, you find a good spot to fight it from nearby, depending on the map. Again, something with a roof and a bit of cover for a Bombardier, and something just with a bit of cover for a Bastion, and then you quickly burst it down with Hullcracker shots and get in there and loot. Now, to be completely safe, the best thing to do via looting is set up a zip line from where you killed it to the body, so you can quickly get to the body and, more importantly, quickly get away from the body, and then also bring smoke grenades. Throw one and then another after a little bit down on the body, and you can just loot in peace, and you're not going to get shot because no one can see you. They might take pot shots, but again, we're just trying to minimize the chances here. And at this point, we get the goodies. Obviously, all the purple items are worth 5k each, and also very useful for crafting if you recycle them, but most importantly for XP, every single part you loot is a huge chunk of scavenge XP. You get as much XP from scavenging these things as you do killing them, and because Bastions and Bombardiers break into like 8 lootable parts each, that's a huge chunk of XP to be getting as you go around looting them all. Don't be too precious about what you grab, just grab the main purples and then blues that you're actually after. Pick up arc alloy and then throw it to the ground just so you can delete that bit of the lootable on the ground and know what you've actually looked at and not. But other than that, you just get round as quick as possible, take your zip out, and then off you go. Honestly, in this example run, I was being quite lazy and just not even using smokes and zips and getting away with it. But you have been seeing just how relatively quick and easy it is to take down, get in, and get out with these arc. So that's kind of it. Once you are happy with how many you've killed, and even a run where you just kill 2, one Bastion, one Bombardier for example, is a really successful run. Make sure you take a loot augment with at least 2 safe pockets, so the Looter Mark II, and then you can fit 6 cores in there, and that is 30k, which pays for the Hullcracker. If you bring a triple safe pocket like I did, that's 45k you can stuff in there safely, which pays for the Hullcracker and the ammo, so you are completely fine. Essentially, if you can kill and loot just a single Bastion or a Bombardier before anything goes wrong, and get the cores in your safe pocket, you at least are going to break even, and everything else is profit. And you've already locked in the XP. It's not like that goes away if something does manage to kill you. It's really, really nice. Then once you have had your fill, you want to just slow extract. You're going to be spending your time in the raid killing arc anyway, so I would deliberately wait for closer to the 3-minute mark to use any of the main extracts, or whenever you are ready, use a raider key to go down a hatch, whichever one is closest to you, as they are 99% of the time, of course, uncontested. That's essentially the whole strategy. You just get comfortable bringing in a Hullcracker and 15k's worth of ammo, and then translating that 45k investment into 50, 70, 80k XP and 100 to 150k worth of loot. Sometimes it will go wrong, but it is shockingly easy and reliable for it to go right with just a little bit of calm and practice, and it's something I highly recommend doing, both for just the fun of it and for the effectiveness of it. So with that kind of out the way, let's go over a typical loadout for this. Here we are then. You of course want your Hullcracker. Again, this is just level 1 without any attachments. You can upgrade it and it will slowly increase your fire rate, which is really good, but that's mostly important if you're hunting the queen. For regular arc, you kill them so quickly it doesn't matter, and this way you're investing less resources into this run. So you've got the Hullcracker and you've got 50 launcher ammo to go with it. That's your arc killing package secure. For your secondary weapon, you want to bring whichever weapon you're most comfortable PvPing with. Because the Hullcracker will handle everything arc, you want anything to help ward off any players that decide to get in your way. Again, friendly is always the best approach. Most people are responsive, but inevitably sometimes you will have to defend yourself, so you want your most comfortable, experienced experienced with PvP gun in your secondary and ammo for it. You can do it with a light shield, but I would recommend a medium, and ideally the survivor is great. The reason being is essentially you can be downed infinitely. So if you happen to get downed by an arc while doing this, you can slowly crawl to any given extract, restore yourself to 75% health, crawl some more, and repeat. And there's been clips of people spending 10 minutes downed as they slowly leave, and that way if you have an inventory full of rare arc stuff, you don't lose it all if you get unlucky or make one mistake and take one more Bombardier blast than you should and end up going down. This is really, really good, and it gives you your 3 safe pockets to put 9 cores in to earn that 45k back. That said, you are totally fine to just lose a looting Mark II and do this with less investment. That's completely okay, and you'll still have a really good return. You've got your smoke grenades to help loot the kills and get away, and you've got your zip lines again to help loot your kills and get away. You want 10 lots of shield restore, and you want 10 lots of healing. The better, but you're fine with the basic stuff, just in case you mess up and take a hit from an arc that you otherwise shouldn't. And then some adrenaline shots to just get you to where you need to go. If you want to really splash out, you can use a snap hook to get to good vantage points to fight the arc from, especially with Bastions. They really struggle to kill you if you're on a roof above them, and then a photoelectric cloak just to run directly to the arc you're attacking. But again, these are just super excessive and not worth the investment if you lose them, but it's something that I at least want to talk about. Other than that, you are good to go, and this is it, really. It's a 60k loadout, and again, you only need to succeed 1 in 3 times for it to be worth it, and that's only worth it monetarily. Every time you'll get a load of XP, as long as you don't somehow die before you even fight your first arc, but you would have to somehow run into a player by being really bold across like a field. Normally the thing that will attract someone is killing your first arc, but you'll kill it so quick with the Hullcracker, you will at least get a big chunk like 25k XP from that process. So yeah, there you have it, and of course you raid a hatch key if you're going at daytime. If you're going at nighttime, well then there's no need to bring it. In terms of actual maps then, well, nighttime is always good, there is more arc, and I would do nighttime on both Buried City and Damn Battlegrounds. Spaceport nighttime is a little bit hairy, the extract towards the end is very open and scary, but daytime on any map is completely fine. I think Buried City and Blue Gate are best because they've got such good density of arc coupled with really good spots to fight them, but whichever map you are most comfortable moving around without being seen is the way to go, and you just go between your high tier arc spots. Other than that then, that's about it. I realise this was kind of half guide, half talk on my experience doing this, but I think it's valuable to know and to see, and to actually experience the kind of high end of what you can do, even solo, with the right kit. For now then, let me know what you think, like if you enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell for more, consider supporting the future of the channel on Patreon down below, and until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.